Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
So warm welcome to everybody. Right. So I think then from my side, I can just say, well, let's get started. I hope you've all got your tea and coffee ready. I will give you a break in between the 2 hours. At about 10 to, I'll give you a quick 10-minute break so that we can just do a bit of a. I heard the other day they call it a body break now. It's no longer a comfort break or whatever. It's a body break because people tend to sit down for too long. Right. So let's have a squiz. In our in the on the slides in front, you'll see that it is dealing with the IRBA 2021 Public Inspections Report on on audit quality. So PIR is the Public Inspections Report. It was launched by IRBA this year on the 7th of February. They didn't do it like previous years where they just sent out an email with a link. They had a whole big hoo-ha launch event that everybody attended, and they had guest speakers from Psycho that spoke about what their take is on it, and just the whole morning basically. So it was nice. It's always good to have those kind of contact points with the regulator. So I have gotten all the slides for you and everything from that. But the summary that I've given you today, the slides really do function as a summary. So let me just quickly have a look and let's get the logistics behind us so that we can start with the webinar. So on behalf of the South African Accounting Academy, I will be your facilitator or presenter for the next 2 hours. My name is Lettie Janse van Vuuren, and there is my blurb and my picture. All right. So if you need to know what I do, this is what I do predominantly at SAAA. I'm responsible for the MCLU. I'm responsible for the daily technical alerts that we send on LinkedIn. So yeah, also now the new newsletters that we are sending out. So that is what I do, and then I do a lot of other webinars like this one when there's a need. Okay. So if at any point in time you feel that you've got a topic, please send an email to SAAA and say to just the topics for Lettie or whatever, and just let me have a couple of topics. If you want us to do more webinars like this, 1 hour, 2 hours, doesn't matter. We can get those done. All right. Okay, let's have a look at what's on the agenda. So the way that I've structured this is I'm going to start off with an introduction, and that will reflect on the 7th inspection cycle and just looking at the new 5-year strategy. Okay, the new 5-year strategy is the 8th inspection cycle. So we will also be looking at that. Then the majority of today will be spent on an analysis of the findings and a summary of the inspections report of the PIR. So we will look at the inspection results for this year, and then we will look at some of the deficiency themes. What did they find at firm level and at individual audit or level? Where were the problems? Okay. So we're going to spend the majority of it on that because that's traditionally what this has always been about. This report exists so that we can always see why other auditors were wrapped over the knuckles. So yes, it is to criticize auditors because they are there as the oversight body. They've got to make sure that the quality that we put out as auditors is up to scratch, up to standard. So there will be a big component of criticism in it, but luckily we need to take it as constructive criticism. And with the remedial action process being included in that, that's also part and parcel of them giving us resources and allowing us to then respond to their findings with a remedial action plan. Okay. Right. So there we will be looking at the top 5 reportable deficiencies. And then I'm going to quickly, briefly have a look at the documents that I've given you in your source documents as part of the overview of the 8th inspection cycle. And I'm going to spend quickly just one slide on future outlook. I always like to sort of try and see what their next little mission will be. We know that they are always on a mission about revenue and debtors and completeness. All right, and estimates, things that need estimation, sampling, risk assessment, those kind of things always. But I'm going to venture into my little crystal ball here to tell you with an educated guess, what do I think is in the future for where their focus will be? And then we'll conclude. All right. So my quote for today is very apt from W.E. Deming. It talks about quality and it says quality is everyone's responsibility and we never have to stop getting better. So it's not a process to say, oh, I've done my quality check, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It is an ongoing process. So yes, if you've got high risk clients, you will be visited by psycha every single cycle. All right. At the moment, they have a lot of audit firms would not have been visited in the seventh cycle because they did follow a risk-based approach. So if they did not come to your offices to do a quality control full-on inspection or firm review, they might have just been there to inspect your files. And if you had no high-risk audits, well, then you didn't get a visit from them. Then you can consider yourself lucky. Right. So just remember that's not something that ever stops. Looking at the background and the focus, I've given you on this slide just a quick recap of the abbreviations that are used. IRBA, the Public Inspections Report, INSCOM, which is the Inspections Committee. So everywhere in the report, it refers to INSCOM. The ISAs is the International Standards of Auditing. RAP is the Remedial Action Plans or Remedial Action Process. And RCA, nothing to do with sound in this case. It's the root cause analysis. All right. So looking at an overview, yes, they released the new 2021 inspections report. And in this, it is the third and final year of the seventh inspection cycle. So like I said, we're going to be looking at some of the outcomes, so the results. We're going to look at the problem areas, which is where we'll spend the majority of time today. Common themes, so what works well. They've also, in this year's report, they've structured what we should look at, what works, what are some of the success factors. But as always, there is a fair amount of this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong, this is the top 5 items. So obviously they can't put everything into this report, and they seriously only focused on the most important ones. But why is this important for us? As RAs, we have to apply the contents of this PIR. Why? Because it forms part of our quality control process and we've got to constantly evolve. We've got to constantly improve ourselves. So all attest and assurance staff. Now, attest is audit work, obviously, and assurance staff would also include independent review staff because independent review is also a form of assurance, even though it is less assurance. Okay, it's not reasonable assurance, it's limited assurance, but it still is assurance. Okay. The best is normally if you just log out and log back in. That might solve it, or it's just general traffic on your Wi-Fi or whatever broadband you are using. Okay. So why do we worry about this? Because we have to be informed about mistakes. It always helps if you know what other people are doing wrong. You can look at yourself and say, I don't want that to happen to me. Then what you need to do is once you've identified a gap, then you take measures to prevent those within your own practice. And I did say it includes independent reviews. Okay. And then referring to the source document, this major source document is the one that I will show to you quickly. This is your public inspections report, right? As you can see, 35 pages. And let me just zoom like that so that you can see the pages. And you'll see This one has some highlights in, but you'll see they've got nice little graphics in here. Although their colors, I'm not too wild about the Sharky.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.